Hey everybody, welcome back to part two. We're finishing up the questions of the cycle of change. That last question that you were waiting for is, with the cycle of change in mind, how can you help others raise their energy? So now you're not only doing that for yourself, you're learning how to do that for other people. So you're a leader inspiring others to create leaders for them, or leadership for them, if that makes more sense. So now we're going to talk about obstacles that obstacles to change and influences for change. So I'm going to read you some brief stuff about obstacles and influences so that you can have an idea of some of those external obstacles, and some of them are internal. One is belief and value systems. Core beliefs and values can lead a person to view change as an opportunity, something to survive, or something to resist at all costs. As a leader, identifying core beliefs can help you engage a person at the appropriate level to increase the likelihood of success in facing that change. Another obstacle could be relationships at home or at work. Coworkers, bosses, peers, and clients all influence the energy of others. So in segment 10, where we talk about relationships, you're going to learn where relationships can be toxic and catabolic, or they can be inspiring and anabolic. So when you become an expert in higher energy relationships, and it's segment 10, which will be episode 11, so I misspoke, there you're going to learn how high energy relationships can help you inspire and motivate individuals, including yourself, to success, is what I meant. Sorry. And then another obstacle could be your environment. So factors of the external environment can also affect levels of your energy and therefore your response to change. The physical environment, if old, shabby, and worn out, can negatively impact the energy of an organization. And conversely, if it's new and it's up and running and it's current and it's easy to work with, then you're probably going to have a more anabolic scenario where you're going to set yourself up for success. So the marketplace, competitor actions, and companies' financial performance and other environmental factors all influence energy levels. So reflecting upon how you can use these factors and perceptions of them in order to shift your energy and the energy of others around you upward will make you a more inspiring, motivating, and successful leader. Another obstacle could be health and wellness. A person's physical, emotional, and spiritual state can positively or negatively affect their energy level. So one of the things that we're going to learn in episode 12 is, in health and wellness, how can you create your anabolic energy to get the most out of this area so that you reduce the obstacles to their smallest amount. And then after that, an obstacle area could be called new interests and new priorities. So you and those you seek to influence may develop new interests. So for example, you might learn new skills, you might go back to school, you might train somebody and they might learn new skills, and that might create inspiration for you or them or both. And then you might decide, hey, I want to change my career. Hey, I want to start a business. Hey, I want to go to another business. And so that can be an obstacle to you currently succeeding where you are. So how do the factors above impact your energy level for managing change? And what we'll do is we'll write down how the factors create catabolic energy for you, and then just put a down arrow next to them. And then how do they create anabolic energy for you, and put an up arrow next to them. So you can start to see, where are these obstacles affecting me anabolically with that upward energy, and then catabolically with that downward energy. Now we're going to look at change to your conflict management. So most people only use the first method of change to conflict management, where they remain a victim. Now, before we talk about these 5 areas, so we're going to go into further detail. When you remain a victim to conflict, problem, or challenge, you're accepting a continual feeling of loss of control, powerlessness, uncontrolled anger, grief, and possibly depression. In other words, you suffer. And sometimes people say suffering is a choice. So you can choose to remain a victim, or you can choose to either avoid the conflict, change the situation, alter your perspective of the situation, or accept it. We'll get to those. A question you can ask yourself when remaining a victim is, how do I identify any problems to which I remain a victim in my life? So write down how you identify problems where you're feeling like a victim. And the second one, avoiding the conflict. Let's say you're at a restaurant and you get seated, but you notice somebody next to you or near you is smoking, and that's not something that you want. So instead of, getting all mad about it, you could just say to your server, hey, I'd like to sit at another table. You could just get up and sit at another table and let them deal with it, because you don't want to deal with the conflict of the smoke. So saying that you might want to remember when you're looking to avoid conflict or challenges, I don't have to attend every argument I'm invited to. Ask yourself, what insights or release of energy does this section hold for you? The third area is change the situation. So like changing a channel, how do you change a situation and do what you can to intervene and bring it closer to a resolution? So for example, if you're changing a channel on TV, you're avoiding the conflict. If you change the course of a conversation and you're being anabolic, even though somebody else might not be, you're giving them the signal of like, hey, I don't want any part of this, I'm changing the channel, or I'm leaving, or which would be number 2, which is avoiding. But when you're changing the channel, you're also changing the energy, and you're looking to be that tide that raises all ships so that your energy is going higher. Number 4 could be alter your perspective of the experience. So look at the situation differently and experience changes. This may involve changing your perspective of the significance of the situation, predicting what other people might say to each other, becoming curious about how Superman and Batwoman might do in a particular situation, or visualizing yourself and others in a different location, like a beach or somewhere that's maybe not so conflict-driven. So in this part of the exercise, describe how you might alter your perspective of a problem or a challenge you're facing today so that you can raise your energy and be more anabolic. And then the last one, number 5, is accept it. So the final method for change of conflict management is accepting the situation as it is. Say, so what? And in the bigger scheme of life, does the problem really matter? So I'll read you a statement that's a quote of the optimist's creed. Acceptance is the answer to all my problems today. When I am disturbed, it is because I find some person, place, thing, or situation, some fact of my life unacceptable to me, and I can find no serenity until I accept that person, place, thing, or situation as being exactly the way it's supposed to be at this moment. So where might you be worrying, stressing, and being frustrated where it would serve you better to just accept the situation and move forward? So write down some of your initial thoughts on number 5 of accepting it. Next, we're going to look at using a strategic approach for problem solving, and then we're going to wrap up this part of the lesson. So looking at problems and solutions from a big picture or strategic perspective can help you build an overall framework for creating solutions. You may find that there are recurring themes across the challenges facing you and the interdependency among the individual solutions. A strategic approach can also provide a sense of containment of problems and release the stress of feeling overwhelmed. So by addressing it strategically, you might even be able to stop a problem before it starts. So ask yourself, what are the problems, conflicts, or challenges presenting themselves to you today? Next, ask yourself, what are the final desired solutions for each of these? So you know the problem, you're going to write the solution of what you want it to be. Next, write, what are the strategies, as in first steps, to reaching that final solution? Excuse me. After that, where do you want to be in a month? Where do you want to be in 3 months? And where do you want to be in 6 months? So let's say the problem is, oh, my credit's a problem. Well, that's a great thing to space out over time so you can give yourself a reasonable amount of information and access to your higher energy so you can start practicing, all right, where do I want to be in a month from now with my credit, in 3 months, in 6 months? And you can start learning whatever there is to learn that you might not know, as well as applying what you've learned so that you can give yourself the best possible opportunity to have the best credit in that scenario. So let's look at a jump ahead, like I said, to episode 10. We were talking about, keep in mind, segment 9, productivity, is in particular using something called holographic thinking. You're seeking creative and innovative solutions. So holographic thinking is where you're thinking logically, you're thinking emotionally, and you're thinking intuitively. Like I said in episode 10, which I hope you're excited for, which is called productivity, we're going to get deeper into holographic thinking, what it is, why it is helpful for you being anabolic, and how it can help you solve any problem or any scenario and keep you productive in anything that you're up to. Ask yourself a question. What areas of your life or goals can be creatively addressed to prevent a problem or challenge from occurring? So you're now going to start looking at, where can I stop problems before they even become problems, before they even start? And then lastly, keep something very important in mind. Based on the energy level that you go through every day, you'll attract or repel challenges. So remember, like attracts like, and raising your overall energy level attracts success. So if you want to know more about how you can delve deeper into your particular problem solving or productivity or health and wellness or emotional intelligence or anything we've talked about so far or will talk about in the lessons that I've introduced, reach out to me, comment Let me know how you like the videos or how you don't like the videos and what you'd like me to add. Let me know in the DMs what you'd like help with, and we can have a discussion. It's not about selling you on anything. It's actually about helping you work through the processes that you're learning so that you'll get the most out of it. And then if you want me to sell you on something later, just say, hey, I'd really like to pay for coaching and, do 3 months, 6 months, a year, or whatever, go month to month and see what it's like. That's up to you. So this isn't a hard sell. This is just an opportunity to learn what it takes to work with me. You can get on my calendar for a couple of complimentary sessions and find out what it is that I do, what is coaching, and how it can work for you and help you do what you're up to in your life, whether it's business, whether it's wellness, whether it's personal, any of these topics that it relates to, plus more that I'm going to be making videos on in the coming months. Let me know. Love to hear from you. That's why I'm out here doing this, so I can help you gain the advantages that you want to gain. Lastly, join me on episode 10 for productivity, where we'll be discussing a whole host of ideas, especially holographic thinking. Like I said before, I look forward to seeing you then. Thanks again for joining me, and have yourself a great rest of your day. Thanks. Bye.